Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. Today I would like to run through the features that we could be seeing come to the PU this year. As always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members, in particular to my latest channel members Boogie and Jamie M. Thank you guys so much for the support. So 2022 is looking like it's going to be quite the year, with many features, systems and tech coming to a close in both 2021 as well as much finishing this year. Today I will be breaking down each feature and briefly discussing what they are, how they affect the PU and what to expect from them, organising them into various categories like tech, ships, ship features, environments and so on. Now, of course, I highly doubt that all of these features will come this year, but I am certain that many of them will. Based on the progress tracker, the release view, and what CIG have spoken about, we will most definitely see many of them, but knowing for certain which ones we will and which ones we won't is not easy, so do take that into consideration. And as you can imagine, there are quite a lot of features to talk about here, so I will be breaking this video into at least 2 parts, but most likely more if necessary. So pause it now, grab a drink, settle in, and let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to kick off with general features, and we have 2 features that are planned to come this year and on the release view that will drastically reshape the feeling of the PU for the better. We have persistent hangars and persistent hubs. Now, each of these will grant the player with their own personal hangar to store their ships, items and cargo, etc., and a personal hub that we will be able to call our home, returning back to log in or log out, store our gear, decorate with items that we find on our travels, or maybe just invite friends over to hang out if you so choose. Now, this is really going to make the PU feel more like a location we are living in, and these 2 are features that I am personally extremely excited to check out. Now, personal hangars are currently slated to release in Alpha 3.17, so the first patch that we are leading up to of 2022. This is going to come around the end of March, with persistent hubs on the other hand not yet allocated a release window. I believe it was once in the 3.18 or maybe 3.17 and then it was removed, so I do think it's something that CIG are intending to bring this year, and I will be very happy to see it back on the release view. In 2022, many existing systems are getting a lot of attention and improvements. EVA, or extravehicular activity, is one of these systems that will be updated to create a much more robust and wholesome experience. This year we have 2 updates and improvements coming to EVA that will make it more realistic. We have EVA Tier 2 and 0G Push and Pull. Both are currently in the 3.18 release window, so I think that's around end of June. The 0G Push and Pull feature will add the ability for players to grab and pull themselves along the surface or push off of a surface to move around in 0 gravity. And EVA Tier 2 will improve the overall experience of EVA, converting it to the same systems that the ships use, which is IFCS, or Intelligent Flight Control System, as well as introducing limited fuel. So the conversion means when we jet off in a direction, our jets will fire, and we will move in that direction indefinitely until we issue a new input or hit something, so making it more reminiscent to real-world EVA. Adding limited fuel will mean that we will need to really think about how we're going to use it and when to use it, and whether it's a better idea to use our EVA jets or the multi-tool tractor beam with its limited battery, or do you have something close to you that you can move and grab hold of and pull yourself around along. Now, I also know that CIG do intend to have the EVA jets as separate items that can be attached, detached or swapped out and upgraded, so lots of changes coming to EVA that will really require us to think and plan any extravehicular activity that we embark upon. Now, this next one I think everyone is pretty excited to see, and it is creatures. During 2021, there was a lot of work done on creating the creatures of the verse, mostly done behind closed doors, but work on creating the creature rigging pipeline, the space whale, which will be found majestically moving through Crusader's gas clouds, and a Boreal Stalker, or the Microtech Bear. All of these had work that came to a close from the character art and tech team, with the space whale also having work from the AI content team and AI tech and features team. So I am expecting this year to at least see the first iteration of the space whale, with the potential for others to come along too. Of course, in the future, CIG do plan all manner of fauna, from animals, aliens, and anything else that you can think of, but they have to start somewhere. Now let's talk a bit about AI and NPCs. During last year, the AI of the verse received a lot of work from dancing, driving vehicles, leisure activities, and moving along and navigating on a planet's surface or landing zone. The amount of continued work on AI is pretty staggering, but unfortunately with server stability and so on, we don't get to see much of this, which is a big shame. Now, I'm not sure what we will see in way of consistent server stability. I know this year they are continuing to work extremely hard on both the AI and the stability of the servers, and I'm remaining hopeful that we will get to see NPCs running exactly as CIG want them to, because they say behind closed doors they look really good, but we're just not seeing it due to the issues that we experience. Now, we are yet to see what AI work CIG have planned for 2022, but it'll be very exciting to find out, and hopefully we can start to fully appreciate them. So last year brought the first clouds we ever got to see, and these were part of a gas cloud or a gas giant called Crusader. Now, they were recently introduced to the planet Microtech, and they do look incredible. Don't get me wrong, there is still a lot of improvements to be made, like the artifacting and performance, but for the second iteration, I was pretty blown away with how they felt and looked. So this year, I am expecting the work on clouds will continue, and Microtech and Crusader will get more improvements, along with other planets like ArcCorp or Hurston potentially receiving their clouds too. Now, one thing that I am very much crossing my fingers for is the introduction of weather. We know the visual effects team really want to get on with weather, but they are waiting on clouds to get to a certain state. What we saw at CitizenCon with clouds was very impressive, so I'm sure that this year a lot more of this will roll out. Now, a feature that was expected for 3.16 but is now coming in 3.17 is the DNA head texture update. Now, the head selection in the current PU is very limited and not of the greatest fidelity, so this year we will be getting these new updates. It is also worth noting that for Squadron 42, a new character creator was developed back in November, so it'll be interesting to see if we get a similar version of the creator for the persistent universe. Now, one of the most significant updates that I'm sure will come in the new year is the new star map. And the work on this, the radar, the local area map, and minimap all had work completing in 2021. So getting the new star map out will be one of the greatest quality of life improvements we could see for the PU. Let us just hope that it comes in an earlier patch rather than a later one. So FPS weapons, we have many. Some of them are pretty cool. Some of them not so much, personally speaking, but all of them do look pretty incredible and unique based on their manufacturer. This year, I expect to see a lot of updates and improvements to the FPS weapons. Firstly, and most importantly, there is currently a full FPS weapon audit going on where they're tuning, tweaking, and balancing all of the current FPS weapons to bring them up to the new standard so that they align with the current PU, rather than Star Marine, which is what they were kind of tuned to way back when, and I don't think they've had much love since. Now, this also means that they will be readdressing the current weapon behaviors and creating more of a range of variations. So, for example, some of the pistols that we have right now will be updated to maybe machine pistols or fully automatic pistols. The Bearing P4 assault rifle has been thoroughly reworked, plus many more. Now, alongside all of this, we can see on the progress tracker that there will be updates to FPS weapon handling, like bringing in animations for interacting with the weapons, like when you're swapping out scopes and silencers and so on. Misfires, which means weapon maintenance may come along, having to clean our weapons and fix them as they degrade and age from the various environments that you travel to. And finally, there will be new FPS weapons coming out. So far, what we know of is the Vault manufactured weapons, but with new damage types and non-lethal options also expected, we could be seeing some pretty significant changes to our FPS arsenal this year. So leading on from that, physical ammo, energy ammo, and having to manage your ammunition will be something that should evolve throughout this year. In 2022, CIG will be working on disarray ammo, flak ammo, incendiary ammo, and plasma ammo. There is also magazine stripping and refilling. Energy magazines will lose charge and drain, and players will need to maybe recharge them using a suit or a station or some form of tool. These updates will make FPS combat very thought-provoking, making decisions based on what you have or scavenging for more if you run out. And I, for one, really look forward to testing and practicing with all of these various weapons, ammo types, and the options and interactions that we will have available in 2022. It'll be a lot of fun. Now, one of the bigger updates slated to release now in 3.18 is the cargo refactor. Now, I won't go too much into this as we have heard about this and its importance for a while, but once it is done, hauling and cargo missions will be able to evolve way beyond what we have now, making it into the true profession that it needs to be, and giving purpose to all of the hauling ships out there. Let us just hope that it sticks with the 3.18 release window, as it's something that I am itching to get my hands on. So Alpha 3.15 brought the first version of the player's personal inventory, which has really improved my overall experience in Star Citizen massively, and evolved from the initial Evocati testing to where it is now. Now, the work on this is not done yet. Next is physicalizing the inventory, meaning that we will be interacting with lockers, boxes, chests, cupboards, and so on, physically interacting with our items, displaying them, having to go to the particular location to access that cupboard rather than just a unified global inventory that you can access from a space station or anywhere in a landing port. So making the whole system more robust and tactile. Now, there is a long way to go for this, but the work on it continues through 3/4 of next year, so we could see some big changes coming in. And finally, we have player reflections. Now, this feature says it assures the player will see a believable representation of their character when looking into a mirror or other reflective surfaces in first person. Now, although this isn't a huge deal, it will make quite a big difference for immersion, walking past reflective objects and seeing yourself, and of course we will get a good appreciation for our awesome armor. Right, so there we have it. That will be part 1, as there is plenty more to go, and we are already up into the 15-16 minute mark here. There is a lot of extremely exciting work coming to fruition, much of which we will be seeing roll out this year. But with that said, do keep your eyes peeled for part 2, and please do consider subscribing if you enjoy my videos. Also, come and hang out with me over at twitch.tv/SuperMacBrother. You are all more than welcome. Having a lot of fun over there, hanging out and chatting with you lot. Hit the thumbs up if you don't mind, it does do the channel a big favour, and tick that notification bell if you would like to be notified when my videos go live. Again, huge thank you to my patrons and channel members. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.